Yeah, baby. All right. StreamYard has just alerted me that I'm live. Now I gotta wait for YouTube to let you know that I'm live. And good God, y'all are already in the chat. Like y'all are, the army is in the chat already. Like we 12 deep in the podcast. Has not even started yet, but y'all already here. Look at that. Oh my Lord, damn. And YouTube just sent out the notification too. Hey, between y'all and YouTube, y'all not messing around. Like everybody wants to know. Everybody wants to be a part of this podcast tonight because everybody's on deck. Everybody's in the building. How y'all doing? I think we got a whole bunch of people out there. Tech 702. Alex Jackson, Battery Powered, Gwendolyn G, Technically T, my head of security, El Jefe's out there, Art Dog, Tech Enthusiast. I mean, damn. Zach Talk Tech 504. I mean, tech for your needs. I mean, good God Almighty, y'all are squatted up. Damn, we got the whole army. Oh my goodness. Okay. But y'all didn't come here for me. Oh no. Y'all came here for Ether. I feel y'all. That's all right. That's okay. That's okay. I can rock that. But all right, let's get into the introduction since you are already here. Let's get this podcast started and bring Ethan in. Oh, yeah, 107? Oh, we got to figure out which episode I'm on. All right. So, this is VypDrive, episode 107, and we got a female content creator on deck who likes to style and profile with her tech content, baby. We got a tech fashionista in the building, and she's coming up next on VypDrive, which starts now. What's up, people? This your boy Viper, the man about tech, and welcome back to another episode of VypDrive. This is the podcast about tech, hosted by the man about tech, and today we are bringing in a creator who likes to style and profile with her tech. She is a tech fashionista. She likes all the pretty tech. So let's bring in Etha Does Tech. Hey, Etha, how you doing?
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm doing good. Also a little jealous of your setup because honestly, this versus your stuff, I need to fix this. I will get on it, and I'm sorry for showing up this way.
It's okay. This is a podcast. It's eventually going to go out to audio, so the setup is not a big deal. Obviously, I'm streaming from a Sony A7 III, and I think you said you're on your webcam, right?
Yeah.
So it's all good. It's all good. But thank you for joining me tonight. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you making the time.
Oh no, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I'm stoked, and honestly, I just wanted to say also that no one really does intros like you do. All that energy is,
Yeah, got to. So, first question I ask every first-time guest that comes to VypDrive. Etha, we need to know what brought you to YouTube.
That's a funny. There's no really one quick answer, but I've always been on the internet. There was Blogger and Sanga, and basically, I ended up growing up and then doing school. I was in law school for 3 years.
Ooh.
And then funny story, I ended up realizing it wasn't what I wanted, but at that point, I had worked for someone from a news network who just established his new tech website, who always asked me to write for him. But at that point where I was doing law school and a little lifestyle blogging on the side, I said I couldn't do tech because it's not something that comes naturally to me. I mean, out of my friend group, I've always been the more techie girl, but that's always the asterisk, right? I'm not the techie person.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, when I did decide to stop law school entirely, he offered me a spot at his company, but it was still as a lifestyle editor of a tech website.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I just really saw the need for female representation in the tech space. Also, talking about tech in a more casual way, talking about tech in a way that users like me appreciate. And I've always said this, there is nothing wrong with how tech content has been presented, but there's also nothing wrong with having different priorities when it comes to tech. And different doesn't mean invalid. And that's just the voice I try to put out there when it comes to my content. Um, so your main question really is what got me to YouTube. Well, when you already do content on the internet, it's something that it's a natural progression, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you write, you express yourself, and then eventually you end up making these videos. And now here I am.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, but that's cool that you made the transition from being a writer to actually doing tech video,
Mhm.
because that's not an easy transition. And for anybody, I mean, a lot of things
Uh-huh.
that stop people from making YouTube channels in the first place is that, you know, they don't like themselves on camera, they don't like their voice, how their
Mhm.
voice sounds, things like that. So was it an easy transition
Yeah.
from you for you, going from writing to being on camera,
Mhm.
or did you have to did you need time to make that adjustment?
So I don't think it's ever easy. I forgot who told me this, but someone told me that when you get on YouTube, like it is for sure you'll be awkward in your first few videos.
Yep.
Like, I mean, unless you're a natural, and I wasn't, and I'm still learning to this day. There are so many things you need to learn, like as simple as looking into the lens. Like, of
Yep.
course, when you're in front of a screen, you watch yourself,
Yep.
or I catch myself speaking differently when I'm on video sometimes. To this day, I still struggle with that because, again, my background is tech journalism. So I was always used to thinking that if you were on video and you're presenting something, you need to be like more newscaster like, which is what I don't want in my videos. I
No.
want fun.
No.
Yeah, exactly, right? But sometimes like my brain just switches and it's like, hello, good morning, welcome to my video. And it's like, no, that's not like it's it's weird. Like
Wow.
a big yeah, a big content creator what is it? A big content creator realization for me that came like and this is late. I've been doing YouTube what, a year or more now, but I just realized this one a month back, which is what does that say about me, right? But I realized that what makes you a good tech journalist doesn't make you a good content creator. No, that's
Ooh.
like it's a tough pill to swallow for me because if
Ooh.
you cover shows and you did what I did, you just run after the big scoop, the big story, and the views will come, right? That
Mm-hmm.
is not the case when you're on YouTube. Like you could be the first video in the world, but someone else could pick up on your video and that could get more views if they have like more like credibility like YouTuber credibility is different than a journalist's credibility, you know?
Right,
It's
right. I am so glad that you said that, because I've talked about on these live streams before about how there seems to be like this divide between regular tech journalists and YouTube creators. It
mm,
seems like, from my lens anyway, it seems like the regular tech journalists don't really like YouTubers because we don't have that piece of paper. We don't have
mm,
that journalism degree or whatever. We can just do what we want and say what we want pretty
mm,
much. But the journalists, they have to, since they have the piece of paper, they have to adhere to like the journalistic integrity and the rules of journalism and things like
mm.
that. But I'm glad you just said that. Just because you're a good tech journalist doesn't mean that you could be come on YouTube and be a good
Oh,
content
no,
creator.
no, no.
Woo! Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
There
oh!
there are so many different struggles that YouTubers deal
Please
with
get into
that
it.
you
Get it.
don't
Let us
have
know.
to
Get into it. Mm.
I mean, okay, for example, a, a good like okay, when I say it's different, it's like a whole different track.
Woo!
For example, tech journalists, I mean, they get the story and they're good, you know?
Mm-hmm.
As a tech YouTuber, you sit down, you think about how you're going to present this story. You think about how you're going to fit it into your persona. Dude, okay, as simple as thumbnails, you
Oh,
don't really have to worry about, you know? And thumbnails are hard.
oh,
Like
yeah,
click through all these numbers, it's bad. Like even now I look at my YouTube dashboard and I'm like, what the heck is happening? What? How does this work? And like these are things that I never had to worry about as a tech journalist or even
Mm-hmm.
like as a lifestyle editor of that website that I did. Like it was fun, but it's a whole different ball game. And I've always resented people saying that being a YouTuber is easy because oh my god, it is not.
Oh,
It is
ah,
like it's not. And a lot of people say
oh.
that for example, this isn't actually my first channel. I have like two other channels.
Ooh.
One channel I just vlog on because I didn't know how to edit videos 2 3 years ago, so I
Mhm.
challenged myself to post one vlog a week, so I learned. But I mean, I've had that channel forever, and it's like on how many subs, like this, like it's not easy. Aside from knowing your stuff as a YouTuber, you have to present yourself, you have to talk a certain way, you have to be able to engage with your audiences. These are so many things that people don't realize YouTubers do.
Please say it again for the people in the back. Say it again for the people in the back. They need to hear this, Ethan. They need to hear this. Oh my goodness.
I
Oh.
mean, I think for the most part, like I get what you're saying about journalists and the divide. I remember once upon a time, and it wasn't just in tech. It was like everyone. It was like bloggers versus traditional media. But
Mhm.
um, I think that if you're, because I've seen like I mean I can only speak from my experience here in the local arena. A little by little, like the more traditional journalists are getting what it is. And once you understand it, and once that divide is bridged, it's easier to be able to say, I respect you. There is mutual respect with the content.
Right.
But it's always so interesting to me how there are still some people who, like, for example, I did the news coverage and then I'm switching over to YouTube, but there are still some people who all of a sudden look at me and um, it seems like my switch to a platform removes how legit what legitimate experience I've gotten, right?
Oh.
There are
Mm.
people who are like that because to them it's like you're just playing around on the internet. And
Oh.
a lot of people think that being on YouTube is just sitting down in front of a camera and saying whatever.
Woo!
When, like, this, literally, it's nerve wracking to shoot one video. It can take out so much of you.
I was talking to somebody else about this. Like, I have done over 400 videos on YouTube, but every video, Ethan, I miss a take. I say a word, I fudge a word every single time. And I've done it for so long
Yeah.
now, but I still mess up words. And I'm pretty sure it's the same way with you. No matter how many videos you shoot
Mm.
and record, you mess up your words every
Oh,
single time. And it never gets easier,
yeah,
never.
no, yeah, exactly. I there are there are times when you're just having a bad day, and
Yep.
I think one of the biggest struggles that people don't realize is that you're not always on. Like, I mean, you have all this energy, but there are days when you feel tired.
Mm-hmm.
And this energy has to be forced. It's not, no one wakes up this happy and preppy every day.
Tell them. Yep.
But you're right. But to be able to make these awesome videos, you need to bring it.
Yes.
And for you to say that YouTube is just sitting in front of a camera and talking completely doesn't get that whole part. Like I have done videos where people are like, okay, whatever, good video, or okay, your video is okay, but without realizing that I shot the A roll 5 times to get it right. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that
Yep.
I shot this part 7 times to get it right. And it's
Mm.
like it's out there and people don't see what goes on behind it.
Right. Not to mention
And
the admin stuff. You got a thumbnail, title, tag, promote.
oh my
There's
god, yeah.
so much of it, so much that people don't see, man.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, dude, I'm so bad at thumbnails to be honest. Like it's only lately that I've been getting like a sort of um consistent groove to my thumbnails, but because my training wasn't to be on YouTube, I've always thought do the video and then once the video is done, I'd be posting it and then the thumbnail would be the afterthought.
Right.
Which I mean, you know this, it's not good YouTube practice for the thumbnail to be afterthought because this is the one thing that gets pushed to people. So it's like this is again, this is something that I never thought about. Like
Right.
as a tech journalist, I don't think about clickbaiting. I mean, I say clickbait in like the normal sense, not the negative, you're lying, it's too
Right.
much sensational clickbait,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, It's it's just a whole new animal.
No doubt, no doubt. Now, you are in a unique situation yourself because you have a significant other that also makes tech videos on YouTube, Joshua
Yes,
Vergara. So, and you guys
I'm
are
repping
all
this.
you got is merch. That was up. That was up. So, Joshua Vergara does tech videos. He has over 100,000 subs and things like that. But he has a similar experience to you in that he came from doing actual tech journalism over to doing YouTube content.
Yes,
So, has he
yes.
been able to like instill any like wisdom upon you making the transition, or is he like you guys
Oh, I
like
mean,
share tidbits and things? Like,
every single day. I find it so funny because he tells me I do this every week. On stressy months, I do it every other day or every 3 days. But I have this whole thing where I want to do so many things, but I never have enough time. And if I'm frustrated about the task in front of me, like I end up wanting to do other things and switching track. And then I feel like I never have time to do it. So I have this mini breakdown of all the things I want to do but can't. And then like so he gets random messages from me going like, babe, I want to build a website. Babe, I want to do my own talk show. Babe, like and so this whole conversation starts with the one weird thing that I want to do that I'm not doing. And then like it all just circles back to I can't get this one thing done. And he tells me, oh, he talks me through it. And then he tells me, you do this like every week, right? It's okay. And he has to reassure me that I'm doing fine, that I have to trust the process, which is something that I'm very impatient about the process. Joshua has been doing this for so long that he has learned to trust his process and the route to get to where he wants to be.
mm-hmm.
I, on the other hand, like, just a quick aside, Joshua and I, like, we have this dynamic in our relationship because we're polar opposites. Like it's he how I deal with things is completely different with how he deals with his things. I think even with the energy in our personalities and our videos, you can see that like he's more of this introspective, calm person who thinks about like meditation and worldly things. Like meanwhile, I'm the type who will keep on running to whatever direction it is that I want to go and just like bounce back every time I hit a wall. And so it helps because it balances each other out.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like I remember going to Joshua and just saying like, okay, what if I do this? Like this was when I was about to start my YouTube. I was like, what if I do this? But literally no one wants to watch me. Like, what do I do? Like, I make these videos and no one shows up. And so he tells me that, you know what? One, he will. He always will. Two, he says, you've already done it in a different sense, right? You've
Right.
already done the tech coverage, the tech work. This should be easier because this is what you want. And this is you talking about the tech in your own terms.
Mm-hmm.
And, with all his help, he says, who you're in the best possible position to be doing this. And it's like, I mean, whether he's biased or not, because I'm in a relationship with him, it has helped me mentally deal with all the stress. Because another thing that a YouTuber does not always talk about is how stressful this whole platform can be. It is
Oh yeah.
basically set up for you so that every week you're in competition with yourself. Like YouTube numbers ranks your videos every time you put one out.
Yep.
So it all like if you get a video that performs worse than the last video you put, it automatically feels like you're failing. So you struggle to get the next one out so that it hits a higher. It's every week I look at these numbers and I'm like, I feel like I'm in a rat race with myself. It's good and it's bad.
Hey, but you're doing okay. You are doing all right. So before we go any further,
Thank you.
shout out to the 35 of you all that are watching the podcast live tonight. Thank you for hanging out with me and Ethan. I appreciate you guys rocking out each and every episode of VypDrive. If you want to support the podcast, you do have the option to super chat. You can buy me a coffee. You can become a channel member. All of those options are available to you. None of it is required, but anything that you're willing to do, greatly appreciated. So thank you guys for rocking out live on VypDrive. Shout out to those of y'all listening on audio only this week. Thank you for listening to another episode of VypDrive with me and Ether. Appreciate you guys listening each and every week to the podcast. If you want to support the podcast, donate, etc., those links will be in the show notes. If you want to follow Issa and her exploits, her info will be in the show notes as well. So definitely go check her out. She's legit. Also, if you happen to be listening to this on Apple Podcasts, no doubt. If you happen to be listening to this on Apple Podcasts, please consider leaving a rating or review. I'm trying to get this podcast back into the top 200 of tech podcasts over on Apple Podcasts. So please, if you can, when you have the time, leave a rating and review for VypDrive. It'll be greatly, greatly appreciated. So, for all your nerves and all your apprehensions, Etha, you have been doing YouTube for a little bit over a year, I think, and you have 22,000 subscribers. So, evidently, you are doing something correctly. So, my question is, do you have any idea? I didn't do anything. It's your numbers. Your numbers speak for themselves. Like I said, you've been on the platform for about a year. You got 22,000 and you're growing. So what is the secret to your growth? What are you doing that you think that has contributed to your growth? Because that's pretty damn good for 1 year.
Okay. I also have to put this out there. I come from a country where everyone's online. So it's always perspective, you know? Because if you always compare yourself to others, one, you'll never be able to come up with content that's original to you. You know, it's that, and it's okay. Let me backtrack a little bit. Where I'm from, it's not a lot. My numbers aren't big. I have a friend who does tech videos who hit 1 million 2 days ago. Shout out to Mary Bautista. She's awesome. She does Tagalog tech reviews. She just hit 1 million.
Okay, congrats to her.
I have another friend who started the same time I have, and he's on 60, 70K now.
Okay.
Like, it's amazing. But their type of content is different from my type of content.
Right.
And the type of people I attract are also different. So to say and to compare always that the numbers are this or that, or that the content is this or that, will only be your YouTube dashboard, you know? Right. It's like, it's what's in front of you, but it doesn't really give you the whole story, and it just pits you against yourself more, and it just stresses you out more. But if there is anything when it comes to growth, I think it would be like to just open yourself up to what you can learn. Like I said, if I stuck with what I was doing when I first started this channel, aka, I mean, not thinking about thumbnails, for example, I probably wouldn't have progressed from where I was. It's also the weird problem with me is I overthink my content. Like, I have this weird hyper focus on the type of stuff I want to see, and little by little I'm learning to let go, because I'm soon realizing that that cord at the corner of my backdrop, which is the reason why I'm reshooting my A-roll for the 7th time today, isn't something that people will notice, you know?
Right.
And it's because I have done that. And one of the best advice that I've gotten from a fellow tech creator, he's also a big one. Shout out to Carlo Ople, who does like sneaker vlogs. It's amazing how he does his stuff. He did like 1 video per day, even if he has a day job for 2 years.
Wow.
So it's crazy. But what he was telling me was that, like, he sees the quality of my videos, and that's awesome, but you have to learn how to simplify, because at the end of the day, no one will look at your tech review and be like, oh, technically this is a good cinematic shot, you know?
No.
People show up for your unique opinion. People show up for your personality. And, you know, it shows if you're enjoying shooting these videos.
Yes, it does.
If you sit there and you're having a tough time, it's like it reflects on your content. And this is what I'm slowly learning.
Absolutely. Body language and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, shout out to El Jefe for the super chat. Thank you, El Jefe. No doubt, man. Appreciate your support, man.
Oh, I just want to point out, I think I have a Discord chat. We never stop talking, but I have a friend. His name is Domer, and he saw me. I think El Jefe replied to a tweet, and he immediately messaged. He was like, "Isa, do you know him? Because he is my favorite international audio tech reviewer, and he bought stuff because of him." So I just wanted to say that because I think he's also in the chat watching. Yep. So yeah.
El Jefe, you got a fan, man.
There, Domer, yeah. Domer was like, I am such a big fan of El Jefe.
Hey, Domer got good taste, man.
Say that.
El Jefe's legit. That's right. So let's talk about your content, because like you said, your content is different from the norm in the tech space. Obviously, you are what I would call a tech fashionista, which means you are
I like that actually. Thank you.
You're welcome. So when I look at your content, what I see is obviously you're analytical about the features and things that your tech does, but you are more concerned, it seems like, about the design and how the tech looks. I watched your LG Velvet video, and you are waxing poetic about how pretty it is. It's so pretty. And I think you try to and I think you try to fit that into like lifestyle content. So talk about what you're trying to do when you make your tech video, because like I said, they're obviously different.
So I guess it's let me start with what Juan pointed out the last time we were on a podcast. He pointed out, and I completely agree. This is the best way I've seen anyone put it. But he was saying that, I've noticed that for a lot of lifestyle users, for a lot of women, when it comes to tech, it's a culture of acquiescence, meaning nothing is really built for women. And if someone suggests this or that, they just take it because it's what's available. But what's wonderful is that in today's time, brands are slowly seeing that, well, guess what? 50%, or I don't know the percentage, but probably near 50% of users are women. It's like, I mean, these are jokes, right? Who do you always see viral on Instagram or on Snapchat with their phones always in their hands? Like, there was even that joke about women and how they bar, like how they have like a pack of cigarettes and your phone and your shot glass and like walking around with one hand, because these are essentials, So, I mean, I really think that aesthetics are important when it comes to these devices. And if we're at a space in terms of tech where fridges can talk and phones can fold, why can't they be pretty? Like, I mean, dude, you are literally paying good money for this tech. I want it to be nice, and I want it to be something that I enjoy looking at and holding. While I do understand how some brands have gone to the other route, right? Like, for example, let me show you one phone. This is the Realme X3 Super Zoom. It's still a very pretty phone. But this has like the 855 plus 865. I cannot remember from top of my head, but like, this is a flagship device that's probably gonna cost like so much cheaper than whatever flagship phones are out there. It's still pretty, but the design looks like a mid-range phone. So this phone in particular focused on the insides versus the outsides when it comes to flagship specs,
Right.
The same way that the iPhone SE focused on the insides versus the outsides when it comes to specs, right? Which I find nothing wrong with. But again, like, for someone who wants something pretty, I understand that this can work well for you, for a certain specific user. But at the point where technology, all of them is doing awesome, I just want this bare minimum. And if it can be pretty, I'd want that too.
All right, so I have a question for you. So before we went live, you were talking about how many phones came out over there in the Philippines just like recently, like 11 phones. So knowing that there's a high rate of Android phones that come out practically every year. I mean, like, you got some Android manufacturers that come out with a phone every 6 months and things like that. So my question is, do you think it will behoove brands to still concentrate on the aesthetics of the phone when these phones are becoming obsolete so quickly? Because in 6 months you got a new one out, or in a year there's a new one out. So, I mean, if the phone is going to be obsolete in about a year or so, I mean, does it really behoove them to still concentrate on aesthetics, or are you just like, no, they need to figure that out anyway?
I think one, it has to be said that although I like pretty phones, I still have a minimum standard for performance. So there's always that, because that's always a big issue. Sometimes they make pretty things, but then they're just pretty.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is, it would be perfect if I get a pretty thing that's a flagship device, but we don't get that a lot. But if I get a mid-range phone that has looks versus a phone that, you know, sort of looks okay but has the highest specs, I'm probably not gonna notice the difference between this upper end mid-range and the flagship. I'm gonna go for the pretty ones. This is the same thing I said about my LG Velvet review. Like, so many people were hating on how it didn't have like the highest um, specs when it comes to insides. But then I'm like, I get that if that's what you need on a phone, right? If you do gaming, you're gonna want that. But for a user like me, and I don't do gaming, I do like cute little games and like, I don't know, Bejeweled and stuff like that. Animal Farm. These are like cute little things that aren't so intensive. This has enough juice to power me throughout the day. And I've always like said that the phones that I've gotten core lifestyle users interested are, one, the Z Flip.
Mm-hmm.
My sister has never cared about anything I did in my life, about tech especially. She does not care. She saw the Z Flip and all of a sudden she wants it. She's interested. But because she's a type of user who wouldn't care about like the insides of a phone, she cares about the form factor. You know,
Right.
my
Mm-hmm.
aunt wanted the Z Flip. She, it doesn't. To her, it was just a pretty thing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the same thing with the Velvet. My mom wanted the Velvet because it was something she felt could rep her personality, could be useful, and the specs for that phone, though it isn't perfect for power users, probably, it's still something that's enough for her needs.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay. So let me just end the statement with the fact that I don't believe that there's one perfect phone. I
Right.
believe that there's a perfect phone for you.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So that's where I'm coming from with all of this.
yeah, because like I said, you make a good point though. It doesn't matter if a phone is obsolete in a year or so. I mean, most people aren't buying phones every year anyway. They're buying phones every 2 to 3 years. So,
Yeah.
if you're gonna keep a phone for 2 to 3 years, then like you said, some people are more focused on the aesthetic. They want their phone to look good. They want a
Hmm.
style and profile when they go out. When they pull up at the
Yeah.
bar and put their phone on the table, they want to know that, yeah, look at my phone,
Yeah.
right? Check out my phone, right? Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
know. I got it.
Definitely.
I got it. I got
Definitely.
it.
And I mean, it's, again, let me show you this phone. I mean, look at that gradient. This is less than $200.
Mm.
So I mean,
And
there are so many things, there are so many choices, but it's also just, it's it's more of to the manufacturers know that this demographic exists. And yeah, there are a lot of people who make their choices based on looks. I'm not
okay.
saying, looks is everything, but
Right.
you
No,
get you get
I
the
got you. I got you. Yeah, definitely. I mean, hey, you
yeah.
if you styling and profiling like Ether is, you want your tech to style and profile too. I got you. I got you. All right,
Yeah, exactly.
definitely. So let's talk about the type of content. Yeah, let's talk about the content that you make. Well, actually, I should talk about the tech that you focus on with your content. Now, obviously, me and you are in different parts of the world. I'm in the Midwest United States.
Uh-huh.
You're in the Philippines. Um, Over
Yes.
here, we are mostly focused on flagship mainstream phones like Apple
Mhm.
iPhones and Samsung Galaxies and things like that. But over in the Philippines, I think the focus is a little bit different because
Yes.
the economics and things like that, or
Mhm.
whatever it is. So I know you on your channel you cover like Xiaomi and Redmi and things like that. So
Yeah.
which phones are, I guess I should ask, what phones over your way are the most popular that people gravitate towards the most?
So here I would say that there is a big Xiaomi Realme competition because, okay,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to the US, what brands do you have? Samsung, Apple,
Google.
Moto,
Yep.
LG.
Mm-hmm.
Sony, you have Sony too, right?
I mean, not really, but yeah.
No, we do not have LG. They've pulled out.
Wow.
Sony, I'm not sure if we have Sony. I've not seen them. The last time I covered them at a local event was 2, 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have that. We of course have iPhones, sure, but technically the iPhone, like technically Apple here are official resellers. We don't have official Apple in the Philippines.
Oh, okay.
So actually my issue right now is I'm supposed to be ordering my 13-inch 2020 MacBook. It's not available on their Apple store, which if
Mm.
I then order would ship in 2 weeks from probably Singapore.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it works here. Um, well, Samsung, we have Samsung, of course. Um, but other than that, we have Oppo, Realme, which is a sub brand of Oppo. Oh, also, we don't have OnePlus officially. We have a distributor,
Okay.
but we don't have official OnePlus presence. So we have, what is it? Oppo, Realme, Xiaomi, Vivo. So we have those Chinese brands. Um, the thing with the Philippine market is it's very similar also to the Indian market, where the budget and mid-range categories are very much alive. So as I was saying before we started, I think there were 11 phones between three brands last month that got
Mm.
launched.
Wow.
We were just scrambling. Uh, it's a lot, but it also is a market that I'm happy about because it sort of gives people choice. Like I said, the phone I just showed you is a $200 phone, and it has what, four cameras on the back.
Right.
This is a phone that functions well, and I think when it comes to my content, I always say that I cover global technology, but also supply that opinion with a very unique Asian perspective. One
Mm-hmm.
other reviewer that I've seen do this is Ben from Ben's Gadget Reviews. Like, I love his stuff because it's also stuff that I can identify with. When he reviews a certain phone, the comparisons aren't between like the existing flagships in first worlds. It's his opinions on tech is sort of compared to what is available in Asia. And in Asia, there's just so many.
Do you guys have
Like,
Huawei over there?
oh, we have Huawei. Sorry, I forgot about Huawei. I was so I was just like super into like the last launches. We do have Huawei, which was also a big giant. Where is that Huawei phone? So I have the P40 here. I actually have the MatePad that I'm supposed to do a video on. But yeah, Huawei is still very big. Another different thing, and I've noticed this between US and Asian tech content, is that sure, everyone um, works with Google,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to realize that other markets outside of the US are more malleable to change. So, sure, not having Google is a disadvantage, but we're not seeing as much opposition or as much dismissal from Asia. Because in Asia, it's sort of also a little bit like a culture of acquiescence. Like if you're from the Philippines, there are people who bought phones from the Chinese market only to get the best value for money that's not coming out in the Philippines, and they just deal with the whatever software is in there.
Mm-hmm.
So to tell me that you have a perfectly functioning phone, a perfectly capable phone that doesn't run Google but gives you other alternatives is not something that's immediately shut down.
Right.
It's weird. It's a different perspective, and having covered tech like on a global scale, it's very interesting to watch. Like it's very interesting to see opinions from people who cover certain areas of the world and like bring them in and be like, oh, so this is how it is here and it's how it is there.
Right, and you make an excellent point because here in the U.S. we won't touch anything that doesn't have Google services on it if it's Android.
Yeah.
Where, like you said, where
Yeah.
in Asia, you guys are the people over there are more open to a phone without Google services because I think you guys are used to having more options here. In the U.S., it's basically iOS and Android, and that's pretty much it. There's no other players. But I'm pretty sure outside of the U.S., there's other OS and things like that that people are experiencing and are used to and have experienced before. So they're more open to the idea of a non-Google or non-Android baked device. So definitely, it's different cultures, different world. Completely, I completely get it.
Yeah, and so one of my goals really, when it comes to my content, is to be able to represent my take in the global conversation when it comes to tech. To say that my priorities on phones are different. Like, I like it folding this way because I have smaller hands, or I like this particular phone because I value aesthetics. But on top of that, it's also being able to represent my unique Asian perspective in the market. Like, I just want to say, you know what? I get that. That's fine. But also consider this.
Definitely. It's always.
And on that, sorry, go on.
I would say it's always nice to be able to view things from different perspectives. Definitely.
And on that note, I say this to the people I talk with in the industry. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be able to chat here with you, because I recognize that a lot of the time when people don't understand your content, that is how you get ignored. And what I appreciate from content creators such as you is that you see that it's different, and instead of like going the other direction because it's not the same thing as what you do, you completely did a 180 and went like, I want to talk about this because this is different. And that's exactly the type of energy that I want and I need and I appreciate from people. So I just wanted to say thank you for that.
You are more than welcome. That is the beautiful thing about the tech community and YouTube as a whole. We all come from different backgrounds, walks of life. We have different ideologies. We have different beliefs. But there's no reason why we can't communicate and learn and have these learning opportunities to be able to examine people that do things differently. Obviously, I could never make the content that you make because my audience is mostly US and they wouldn't care about real me and Xiaomi phones. Not. I mean, some of them would, but most of them won't. But that won't stop me from talking to you about your content because you're an excellent content creator, and I love the style and flair that you bring to doing your content. Because I myself like to bring some style and flair to the way I do my content. So I
swear. I just wanted to point out like your energy in your videos, like that's something that you can't ever replace. Don't ever stop.
Oh, no.
I love it. I love it.
Woo! I'm glad you went there because that segued perfectly to my next conversation point. So, the comment, Ether. The comment. You just posted. She about to spit out her drink. She about to spit out her drink because she know where I'm going. She know where I'm going. Woo! The comment. Now, you were asking on Twitter about people commenting about your looks and appearance in your video. I get comments about my energy, or I'm too loud, or I don't sound sophisticated enough. So talk about the type of comment that you've been getting on your video because I know it's out of line.
Okay. I get like the weirdest ass comments, and it's
yep.
Like, I wear a pair of shorts. I unbox like this big package that I have to be on the floor with because it's big. Like, I think this was the pink ROG set. Like, they sent me all their pink peripherals, and of course that's gonna be like in a chest, right? And then someone tells me that I'm exposing myself too much for showing my legs. I wear a tank top and someone calls me a titty streamer. Like, I mean, I'm sorry for your audience, but I'm gonna say it. I don't even have the tits to be a titty streamer. Like, personally, I am not mad at titty streamers because if other people can capitalize on women's bodies, what's wrong with owning it? You know, if you have the skill, then you should be able to do it. No hate there. I respect the hustle. You do you. I'm not saying I'm gonna consume your content. I'm just saying I will fight for your right to make it. So I shoot in front of a mirror. And I
Mhm.
do that because I want people to see like the back of the phone when I hold it out and show it.
Right.
And like when I do my camera tours, when I do the zooms, I like them to see the difference between the actual thing I'm trying to zoom at. Dude, I got a comment saying that I was just trying to get simps. Why? Like I was shooting in front of the mirror so that I could show my body and find simps, or like um
Five step.
I was
Wow.
like, what is going on? Why is this person so mad? And then he was mad at the fact that I was overly excited over a phone color. And I'm like, obviously you've not seen my other videos because I'm
Right.
always overly excited over phone colors.
Yep.
Um uh so I mean, on the other side of that, I get comments about like people who are overly excited over how I look. So it goes both ways. Like I get hate for being who I am, and then I get so much excitement, and it's bad. So I will always say this. Joshua knows this all too well, but like I have weirdly, incredibly thick skin. Like I honestly don't care about what they say because I am good. Like imagine dealing. I'm kidding.
Wait,
Dealing with all.
what'd you just
Kidding.
say? You were your what?
I'm like I'm good. I'm okay with myself. Like God gave me this. I'm fine. Personally, sometimes I feel like I should care more. But what bothers me about comments is not so much what they tell me, but it's the fact that they feel entitled to tell me. That's
Right.
something that pisses me off. It's like, even if, okay, for example, I worked so hard on this video, this review, and someone tells me, oh my gosh, you're so sexy. And I'm like, to that person, it he expects me to thank him for that compliment. And like to be honest, I don't care. But why do you have to talk about like my legs or my body when obviously this is a video talking about a phone, you know? Like
Yep.
why do you feel entitled to throw me this compliment and then expect me to be thankful about it?
I agree.
That is mainly what pisses me off. It's like, and then people go like, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. I'm like, bro, I'm responding to what you said. You can take the heat, you know?
Oh, wait. How they gonna tell you got it? Your kitchen is your kitchen.
I know. I'm like, first of all, I'm cooking. Secondly, get out. So,
Boom.
I
There you
mean,
go. Right.
half of the time I post these comments because aside from the fact that I am so annoyed at people feeling entitled to give me their opinions as if it matters to me because it really does not.
Yep.
Um, I do it so that women creators can see that we can fight back. Like it's
Mhm.
not so much for the people writing the comments. It's for women who want to speak out, but aren't as thick-skinned as I am. Because I
Right.
mean, I really am. Like you can throw insults at me and I'd laugh at your face. It's like
Shit. Savage out here,
I
y'all. Woo.
mean, first of all, look at you and then look at me.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
So
Oh.
so this
Oh.
is
Damn.
I mean, dude, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm just saying I really don't care about that shit opinion, you know?
With all due respect, I am not arguing. Okay, you won't get no argument from me, baby. I'm just saying, I'm not
I,
arguing.
I just and I always say this. I always take constructive criticism. I'm not perfect. I have made mistakes on my videos, and
Mhm.
I have been comments of people pointing out these mistakes. I have corrected myself because of people pointing out these things. But you know, if it's something I worked hard for, and all you tell me is that, girl, your roots are showing.
Oh,
All
dude.
I'm gonna say is that it's been showing for a while. That's the whole point. I don't care. And two, and then what? I mean, of course, I'm only giving you the nicer comments because the mean ones, I don't think I should be saying like in public
Right,
because
right.
there are mean ones.
Oh, I'm sure. You know what?
Yeah. So
I can't really say anything about this. I'm gonna tell you what Shannon just said in the chat. Shannon said, "Don't let anyone else tell you what to wear or how to dress. They will judge you regardless of what you do." Couldn't have said it better myself.
exactly. Yes. So like actually, I remember that comment I got about showing my legs. My response to that was that I almost shot a whole review in a bikini just because I was pissed. But then I was like, I don't have a beach trip. And it's like, I'm lazy. I'm not going to give them that effort. But I have shot a review in a bikini. So it's like, who at this point, right? Like,
Do y'all hear the savagery? Do y'all hear the savagery that's going on the podcast? This is the next level savagery. She's like, you know what? Damn your comments. I'm going to shoot this review in a bikini and you deal with it. Damn. Oh my God. Bow to Queen Ether. We going to bow to Queen tonight, baby. Woo! Uh-oh. You're muted. You're muted.
Sorry, I took out my earbuds.
It's all good.
I honestly don't like being told what to do with my content. There is a reason why I'm trying to create content for the non-traditional tech crowd.
Mhm.
I'm trying to create content for me. And if this super techie person gives me unsolicited advice about how I should make my content so that it would better suit his needs, I'm really not listening.
Nor should you. You shouldn't listen.
Yeah, so that's why it's also very I'm also very appreciative for like creators who try to understand what I do and give me advice in the context that I need. Like there are so many. I love that. I love the input. But if you're a guy who just clicked on a thumbnail and is telling me like to talk about like benchmarks, like I get this a lot. They go, "This is such a bad review. You're just talking about the camera." Literally the title is blank 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 phone camera tour unboxing. And like my response to that is like literally this isn't a review. And then some stupid
These people do not read the title. Half the time, they don't even watch the damn video. So I completely get where you're coming from with that. Yeah. You know what the worst is, though, Ether? The worst is when they will come down to the comment section and they will ask a question that I clearly answered in the video. I'm like, did you watch the video? Like, I answered this.
Exactly, for real. And I'm just like, Lord. I mean, if people just took a second to actually look for the answers to their own questions, it would help everyone so much. It's just bad, really. And I tweeted out a question. You mentioned that I tweeted out a question asking if male tech reviewers got these comments, and so I think it's a general consensus that people can be shit online. People can be crap online. It is a general consensus, but I think it was Snubs who pointed out that yes, we all get comments, but women specifically get unsolicited comments on sexuality or like one thing she pointed out was like people could say that you are too good looking to like tech or probably sleeping with your co-host, and like I totally get that. Like one, I think I'm just lucky because I'm with someone in the tech community that will defend me no matter what. So like I'm in a relationship with someone, so that sort of closes off like some people from commenting like weird stuff, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because I'm already with this person, which is sad. Like it's a different conversation altogether about how other men will back off just because they see you're with another man. That's a whole different conversation. I don't agree with that, but for me right now, it's something that I'm seeing is the case. Like once they see I'm in a relationship with someone, they sort of like shut up. So I'm actually in a privileged position. But at the same time, I get comments about just being in tech because my boyfriend's in tech. And in fact, I met him at a tech show. We were both covering that tech show, which is why we met. And then I've gotten comments from people saying that I'm only doing tech because I'm dating Joshua. And it's like,
Ooh.
you obviously don't know. Like, I have a vlog on how we met. You can watch that. But I don't think I'll get that if I were a man in this space dating another woman doing tech.
You're probably right. Yeah.
Right? So now all of a sudden I'm this girl who does not get tech but is only creating tech content because I'm dating a tech YouTuber, and it's like, bruh, no.
Ooh. Oh, you know what? I usually try to keep these podcasts to an hour, but I'm having way too much fun. I don't know what your schedule is, Ethan, but if you have more time, I'm gonna keep going.
Oh, I'm okay. We're good. We're
Oh,
good.
we're good because I'm having way too much fun with this. We're going into overtime, damn it. This podcast is going into overtime. Damn that. I cannot believe that people actually come at you with the fact that you're only doing tech because your boyfriend does tech. I'm like, have you seen her content? It is completely different from Josh's content. They do two separate different things on YouTube. They don't even do the same content. What are you talking about?
I honestly just don't know where this hostility is coming from, because aside from the fact that I get mean comments about that, I also get mean comments just about the fact that everything in my videos are girly. There's a Tagalog word. It's maarte, and the Filipinos in the chat, if there are any, would know what maarte means. But roughly translated, it's like they're saying it's too much, it's too girly.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand why people get so mad that my content is the way it is. Because honestly, man, if you see a thumbnail with a girl with pink hair, with text that's in like pink or bright pink, talking about cameras, like, what did you expect? Did you expect benchmarks? You clicked on this thumbnail. It's literally on a fur table with a girl selfie. The girl has pink hair. It says camera tour. Did you expect me to do benchmarks here? This is very confusing to me.
Let me try to chime in on this a little bit. So I completely get where you're coming from, even though I'm not a girl, obviously, but I get the same vibe that you get. When people watch my videos, they're like, you're so loud, you're shouting, this is not how tech is supposed to be presented, blah, blah, blah. Why can't you be more straight to the point? Why can't you be more like monotone and boring and give us the information? Why you gotta be all like, have your personality in the video, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, listen, man, there are thousands of regular monotone tech channels out there for you. If I'm not your cup of tea, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to lose sleep over this. I'm not going to change who I am because you're uncomfortable because you think I'm too excited or too loud. Listen, man, when you come to Viper channel, when you come to my channel, you're going to get your tech cut like a WWE promo. If you can't deal with that, I got 2 words for you, which I can't say on the podcast, but y'all know where I'm going with this. So, yeah, it is what it is.
I completely agree. Exactly that. I'm like, dude, I start my videos with, hello, you beautiful people. If with that greeting you don't feel beautiful, if with that greeting in your heart of hearts you feel the need to say, girl, you suck, this video is probably not for you. And with all due respect, I don't think I need your opinion. It's like,
Tell them.
Again, I'm just thankful that a lot of the men in the tech industry are very respectful and open. Mostly the problem I get in terms of treatment, I get from anonymous commenters. In the tech space, in the creator space, and I've said this over and over in this podcast, everyone's been so accepting. And this is why it's been such a challenge grasping my brain around this. Like, if the actual people making the content are so accepting, I don't know why these anonymous people are so mean. Like, let me give you one specific instance. I have a Facebook page, and I posted this photo wearing a wearable, a smart band.
Mhm.
And when I do my smart band reviews, I sort of talk about how it looks, because I mean, if I'm gonna have something on my wrist, it has to look nice with my outfits.
Right.
So I posted a photo of it, like I think it was from my shoulders or under my mouth, and then the cut was like above my knee. So that was the photo. It was an outfit photo with a band.
Mhm.
Sometimes from my side of the world, what the brands do is they boost the post of the creator.
Right.
So instead of like paying an ad, what they do is they look at what people have made on their device and they boost it. Dude, I kid you not, I got swarmed by comments objectifying me and then blaming me for posting a photo of a band with my body. Like so all of a sudden these sexual innuendos, and then all of a sudden it was my fault for posting the photo in the first place. So okay, at this point I was raging. At this point I was screenshotting photos of the comments and sending to mothers, workplaces, schools. So that was fun.
Man.
So I did that. It was more of, you can't do this. I create my content for women. This post was for women, and for you to come into my space and comment all these profanities is not okay. So that happened. But if you think about it, though, these people, some of them were saying it was my fault. They were getting screenshots from other tech publications saying this is how you should have done it. I was so done with it. I messaged, because I knew the people they were screenshotting from.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I went like, you know what? He's my friend. He tells me it's fine. What are you talking about? Like, these people legit showed up and said, no, Isa, there's nothing wrong with your content. You do you. So these people giving me links to other people, I just go like, they literally just told me it was fine. So what are you on about?
Right.
And so I just find it so weird that the actual creators themselves have no problem with it. And
you want to know why? Because as creators, we understand how hard and how much work goes into making the content that we make. I think that's one of the main reasons why creators are more supportive of each other. But because we're in the inner sanctum, we know what amount of effort it takes to put out a video from front to back. It's a lot of effort that we know. So we're going to be more supportive. But people on the outside looking in, they have no idea the time and the effort that goes into putting out the content. And plus, they have that anonymity behind them, so they don't have to face consequences for their actions. So they feel more brave to say whatever they want to say because they know nothing's going to happen to them. Would they say that stuff to you on the streets? Hell no, because they don't want to catch that smoke. But as creators, we're more supportive because obviously, like I said, we know what goes into making the content. But I got an interesting question for you, though. You just said that your content is for women. What about the men? Like, what do we do?
So, I mean, initially I wanted it to be just women, but then I realized that it wasn't just women who were the lifestyle audiences. Like, there are a lot of men who aren't into it in the most techie way, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's like also something I'm slowly shifting into. Like, it's not a delineation between the sexes. It's just
I bet if you looked at your analytics, you have more men watching your content than women.
Yes. So this is also another constant struggle. Let me just share this a little bit.
Okay.
I remember starting my channel and coming up with travel-based content because that really was the thrust of my channel, except we can't really do that right now.
Right.
I remember it was an Asus Zenfone 6 video. I had like a pink Vivo phone unboxing, and then I had like a Japan tour with the Asus Zenfone 6. Dude, I remember the first month I was shooting, like the analytics was giving me 100% male, and I was just disappointed every time. Right now I'm at, wait, let me do the math, 65-35. Last month it was like 60-40, which so this is my constant struggle now. Like, it fluctuates. So last month I had a way better percentage because it was like 40-60, which is, I mean, I try to keep that, but it's still very hard to find ways. But it's also, I find that men will consume tech content, like the techies will consume tech content if it's there.
Yep.
So I try to cater to the more lifestyle side, if that makes sense. I have no qualms with people watching my content, even if they're not the audience I intended them for. I just don't want your unsolicited negative opinion.
Keep your opinion to yourself, punk.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah. So, but yeah, I was very surprised to learn that there are a lot of men too who aren't as into the techie specifics.
I mean, you know, I've seen your thumbnail, so I'm just going to politely say that looking at your thumbnail, you are going to get men to watch your content. It just, I mean, I don't know how else to put it, but it's going to happen. Not to mention the fact that I think YouTube is a male-dominated platform anyway. So there are more men on the platform than anybody anyway. So your ratio is going to be more men than women anyway. So don't forget the men. Don't forget the boys.
I get that. I get that.
Mhm.
But I always say this is also one of the reasons why I speak out when I do. Because if if my message to women is that you will get this shit and it's not okay, the men watching should be able to take cues and see how much it bothers women.
Right. Yep.
I feel privileged enough to be in a space where even if I am new, even if my opinion is different, I am able to talk to people like you who have platforms, who have a voice. And I am hopefully able to get your respect. And if I'm able to do that, if I'm able to talk to someone in this community and have them listen to me, hopefully other people will follow suit.
No doubt. You definitely got my respect, and I'm pretty sure you got the respect of a lot of people in the creative community. And if you ever run into a problem with a creator that is disrespecting, you let me know, and we'll deal with it. I promise you, we'll deal with it quickly. It won't happen long. Yo, Buzz, thank you for the super chat, sir. I appreciate it. That's right.
Thank you.
She is awesome, man. She is awesome. All right, so earlier this year.
Someone said in the comments, one of my most watched videos has a picture of my ex-girlfriend, says Savage Scientist.
Oh, Lord.
Some people just fixate on like the weirdest things.
Definitely. So earlier this year, before everything got out of control with the pandemic, you were at CES 2020. So you were.
Sorry, I was what? Sorry?
I said you were at CES 2020 earlier this year. So talk about your experience at CES this year.
This year I didn't wear heels to the show, so that was good.
Good move. Very good move.
I mean, my first CES, I wore heels, and then my feet were dying after day one, and everyone was like, "Why are you wearing heels?" And then I'm like, "Because it's cute, but it's killing me, but it's cute." CES 2020 this year, it was a very interesting CES. Let's talk about it like in terms of my personal experience first. It was a very interesting CES for me and Joshua because it was the first CES that we covered as ourselves.
Okay.
So this is the last CESs where I ran around trying to cover stuff because it was work and trying to get everything in. Like this year, it was a conscious decision to sort of actually enjoy the show. Like I always said that CES is the worst reason to be in Vegas because everyone's having fun, but you are just working, sleep deprived, tired. So this year it was, I mean, we were still sleep deprived and tired, and I still got sick after. And then, all those other stuff. My face started leaking after the show. I was just dead. But it was so nice because we went there, we tried to enjoy the show. We did a scavenger hunt with Qualcomm, ran around. It was an awesome experience because as a creator, it was sort of the landmark for me where I shifted from, I can do whatever the fudge I want now. I remember standing there and going like, if I don't cover this, we're good. And we shouldn't. because this is our story now, my story to tell. So it was fun. At the same time, Joshua and I, like, what I love about our dynamic is that, as you've mentioned, we have different content, but we work so well as a team together. So what happens is when you ask us to come, it's basically us two working as a unit but creating separate content for it. So it's always been fun. I think it's so weird because my relationship with Joshua is so used to working. Like sometimes we have to actually tell ourselves to stop working and actually just chill and enjoy and go on a date because we are so used to just like being together and working. But yeah, CES has been fun. It's sad because I went there thinking this is just the first of this year, but then obviously all other stuff has been canceled.
Yeah, right.
So I sort of miss the crazy hustle, but at the same time, we know it's for the best.
Definitely.
Let me go back to your question. CS this year. I mean, one thing that I've noticed about shows is that little by little, they have also recognized in their own little way that the lifestyle audience is a big deal. I'm not sure if you know this, but CS this year had a sexual health and wellness
I
arm.
heard that, yeah.
Like, you had a separate one. And this was the result of last year's controversy
Yep.
about the sex toy that they awarded and then took back. So for me, just seeing stuff like this grow at a tech show, man, at a tech show where people are usually like so very specific on the technicalities, you have these brands sprouting out and championing sexual awareness and stuff like that. It's the little things, it's the little details that are changing. I remember last year CS, one noteworthy observation was that there was so much beauty tech. And Josh was saying this didn't used to happen. I walk into like a showstoppers or was it a Pepcom, and there were booths and booths lined up for like the skincare, hair care, color care. I remember walking in and then Joshua left me at that venue because he was just like, I'm done, we're going to the next thing. And I'm just like, nope, I'm not done, I'll meet you there, because this was my jam. But it's just amazing how little by little you see the differences and the growth in terms of like the less traditional techie things.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it is the Consumer Electronics Show. I mean, like you said, they have all types of tech there. They held 1 year they had machines that fold your laundry. They had the Impossible Burger, so it's like all sorts of stuff at CES. But technically, you need to ask a question in the chat that I'll get into. Talk about the competition that you and Josh won, the Qualcomm competition. You guys beat Kevin and Andrew, I think, during that competition.
We got super into it. It was weird. We got super competitive. Like, I think the winning. Okay, first of all, when they announced the winners, we thought we didn't win. Two, when they announced the winners and it was apparent that it was us, we thought we'd won by like a few points. It was like by a lot. I think we overcompensated, basically, is what happened, because at some point, like, it was Andrew and Kevin falling in line at the shuttle to get to the next venue, right? Because it was a scavenger hunt. Dude, we saw them fall in line and we were like, these fools wasting their time falling in line. we Joshua and I, with all our gear and our backpacks, decided to run to the other venue. And there is a reason why there were shuttles. It wasn't near. But
Right.
no, we were like, guys. Dude, we get there and I'm like, I'm barely catching my breath, right? I'm still trying to be cute, barely catching my breath. It was fun. It was one of those things where I feel like it's awesome because the brand let us do something fun and different. One. Also, two, so many Qualcomm powered things. What the heck? the most obscure things too, right?
Right.
It's like, I think it gives, I mean, that was great on the brand for planning that, because you then realize that you're right. Everything is powered. Like a lot of the things that we have on the market are powered by this brand, and it's not something that you always see. I mean, outside of phones, it's not like they say that this has a Qualcomm chip in it, right?
Right.
But at the same time, like there were vacuums, man, vacuums.
Wow. All right. So just to reiterate for those y'all are listening, the content that she was involved in at CES was a content put on by Qualcomm. She had to, I think they had to capture her to identify all the products that are made or have been influenced by Qualcomm or have Qualcomm tech in it. So that's where her and Joshua ran around CES trying to locate. So what was the most obscure product that you found out that Qualcomm tech was inside of?
For me, it was really the vacuum, because I was like, wait, what? Like, the thing that sucks has a chip. It's that smart? I get the phone. I get this. I get the routers. The thing that is literally licking my floor has a chip. Dude, that's good. Like, I am.
Oh my god!
That's my mind. And so, Joshua, like, what? So your reaction is basically like, so when stuff like this happens, Joshua just takes it because he is so used to me like just getting mind blown by the sheer amount of weird things that I see. That's like, Joshua has been in this so long that like he sort of rolls with it. Meanwhile, I'm here running around getting amazed at every small stupid thing.
Right.
I'm excited over what the blowout I'm getting because of a new hair dryer. I'm excited because this vacuum acts like a tiny dog. I'm excited because that thing is pink. Like it's just, it's a common theme.
She literally said the thing that licked my floor has a Qualcomm chip.
Is it not what it does, though? It is. I mean, you think about it, vacuums are just things that lick your floor. That's really like one of those like explain what it does in the worst possible way means, huh?
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I mean, I have never heard it talked about that way before. You're right, but it's just hilarious to hear you say it like that. Like, yeah, lick my floor.
No, but okay, I've also noticed this. If you're non-techie, sometimes you explain things in like really weird ways. Like, for example, a friend of mine was like, the photos that move. Like, what do you mean the photos that move? Like the ones they put on the website that move. I'm like, so you mean videos? She's like, no, they're photos, but they move. Like, what are we talking about here? You know what she's talking about? GIFs. I mean, yeah, that's what she was talking about. She's talking about GIFs. And I'm like, okay, wait, yes, they are photos that move. But if you tell like a person, like a techie, you go like the photos that move, they're gonna be like,
right,
no, what? Or what is the other thing? Like, let's say for example, the S Pen, for example. Like, dude, I kid you not, the very first time I did an unpack, like this was remotely, I didn't know what an S Pen was. So imagine being at the note briefing and we going like, excuse me, what is an S Pen? With all the Samsung people presenting and me going like, S Pen is what? What is the S Pen? So, I mean, it's sometimes it's also a thing that I try to do on my videos. It's like when you're in tech, you sort of forget that these are techie terms.
Right. Yep.
Right. Like if you watch a video, what? Like for example, I had another friend who wanted a 360 camera.
Mm-hmm.
But she didn't know what a 360 camera was. All she saw was that I was able to shoot this really nice Instagram photo of me with cherry blossoms because I had a 360 camera.
Right.
Like, I think the non-techie crowd is more that way. You sort of have to show them how it will fit in their lives versus saying this is what it can do. Because I remember I've had this 360 camera. I was talking about what it could do, and she never cared. And then she saw this really nice Instagram photo of me with the cherry blossoms, and she was like, "I don't care. I want that. I'll buy that. How much is that?" It's a different switch in your brain. And I remember going back to her, going like, "Remember the camera you want, the 360 camera?" And she's like, "What's a 360 camera?" She's like, "I need that thing which gives you the nice background."
Yeah, I lately I myself have been focusing more on trying to be like more relatable to the non-techie person because, like you said, a lot of times when we're doing tech video, we're using jargon like 120 hertz refresh rate or A12 Bionic chip or 6 gigabytes of RAM. But the average non-techie doesn't know what any of that means, so it's up to us as creators to be more to explain that stuff and make it more relatable to the average consumer. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, my friends don't know what a processor is.
Right.
To be honest, they don't know who Qualcomm or MediaTek is.
There you go.
But like any girl who've asked me about phones have asked about colors specifically. They've asked about selfie cameras. A big question that I get a lot is social media integration. What will this Android phone look like when I post stories on Instagram? That's what they ask about. It's never what's the chip that powers it.
Right.
It's the refresh rate. It's like I get that that's important, but it's also like you will never see me try to measure this on my videos because I mean, look at me.
Oh God, this is great. Oh my God, but man, Etha, oh my God, this probably has been one of my favorite podcasts I've ever done.
Oh.
Thank you so much.
That's so nice. Thank you. I had so much fun too.
And we are definitely doing this again sometime, no doubt about it.
Definitely. I'll figure out a way to get this looking like that. I'll get there. It's
no. Damn that. Look, listen, man. I need to be the better looking one because you already look like 1,000 times better than me anyway. So if you got if you got a right setup, if you got a good setup, then you're gonna be blowing me out the water. I can't have that. So you keep your webcam. You keep your damn webcam.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna show up next time with what do you call this? The s'mores frap and some shades.
Oh, wait, you got the s'mores frap?
What was it? The Starbucks drink you always drink? I've always been curious. I've never tried it. I don't think we have that version here.
What?
It's like, I'm not sure we have it. Like we have weird stuff like matcha espresso latte or passion fruit hibiscus cold brew. But I don't think we have s'mores frap.
Hey, listen, you walk into your local Starbucks and let them know that Viper said they need the s'mores frap immediately. Get on that. What is going? It's summertime, ain't it? Get on that.
Yeah, dude. I've obviously not been to Starbucks, but so I just have cups now. But I've always been curious because you've always posted about it. I'm like, this has to be.
It's so good. It is literally bae. You need to have some. If we ever meet up in the States, me and you are going to Starbucks. We making that happen.
Definitely.
We're making that happen. Before we get out of here, let the people know where they can find you at.
I'm on YouTube. That's Isa Does Tech. You can just Google that, Isa Does Tech. You'll find someone with pink hair. That's me. On Instagram and on Twitter, it's at Cisa Said. And then I also have a tiny page. I just started it. It's Isa Does Tech. But yeah, I'm just replying to tweets and posting Instagram stories and say hi.
Definitely go check her out. Shout out to Tubo for the super chat. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Also, shout out to those of y'all that watched the podcast live today. Thank you for hanging out with me and Etha. I appreciate you guys. If you super chatted, if you brought me a coffee, or if you became a channel member, definitely appreciate you guys doing all of that. El Jefe Agent put her channel link in the chat. So if you want to go check out her YouTube channel, definitely go hit that link. She is legit. As you guys have found out in these last 90 minutes, we've been having a blast So thank you for watching us, and definitely go check her out. Shout out to those of y'all that listened this week on audio. Thank you for listening to another episode of VypDrive with me and Ethan this week. Appreciate you guys rocking out each and every episode. If you want to follow Ethan, her channels, and her Twitter, all of that will be in the show notes. If you want to support or donate to the podcast, please check the show notes for that information. Nothing's required, but anything that you can do will be greatly appreciated. Also, if you happen to be listening to this on Apple Podcasts, please consider leaving a rating or review so we can get this podcast back into the top 200 of tech podcasts on Apple Podcasts. So please, if you're on audio, if you're on Apple Podcasts, please consider doing that. Appreciate you guys listening to another episode of VypDrive. For those of y'all on YouTube, tomorrow is a double hitter. We got 2 podcasts happening tomorrow night. Kevin the Tech Ninja is coming tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock Eastern, I think it is. And then at 9 o'clock Eastern, Luke Miani is coming. So got Kevin the Tech Ninja and Luke Miani both coming to the podcast tomorrow night. So yeah, your boy Viper, like you guys know, I'm working. I got a podcast lined up every day until next weekend. So I'll be back relatively quickly. But until the next time, people, this your boy Viper, the man about tech. You know where to find me. So come back for more.